I never liked moving. New streets, new houses, new faces. It always felt wrong, like stepping into someone else's carefully arranged nightmare. But this one was worse. The first thing I noticed was him, my new neighbor. Quiet. Too quiet. There was a precision to him, a stillness, like he was measuring every inch of the world around him before deciding how to exist within it. I never saw him leave the house, not once. Yet sometimes I felt eyes on me, burning and patient, always following, always watching, even when I thought I was alone. The dog, or whatever it was, didn't help. Every morning it would sit on the edge of the yard, hackles raised, teeth bared, staring at me as though I were a trespasser in a world I didn't belong to. I never saw him walk it. I never saw him feed it. And the windows, always drawn even on the brightest days. Light that should have filled the room was swallowed by the thick black curtains, leaving the house looking like a shadow in the middle of the neighborhood. At night, I started hearing things. Not from the walls, not from the yard, but whispers. Soft, low, almost melodic, carried straight into my mind. Words I couldn't understand. A language I didn't know and yet somehow felt familiar. Sometimes it felt like the whispers were laughing. I tried to convince myself it was imagination, paranoia fueled by being the new person in town. But the feeling didn't fade. I noticed subtle things at first. Shadows that moved the wrong way, reflections that didn't match. The sense that something about him bent reality ever so slightly. One evening, I swore I saw him in the glass door of the garage. His reflection was missing. Just him, standing there, perfectly still, watching. My stomach twisted and I felt my pulse spike. I looked away, blinked, and he was gone. But the unease lingered. Something about him wasn't human. Something about the house wasn't human. I started observing more deliberately, almost obsessively. Birds never landed near his yard. Neighborhood cats hissed when he appeared outside. The air itself seemed heavier around the house, like it had its own weight, pressing against my chest whenever I got too close. I left small objects along the fence, pens, scraps of paper, a half-eaten sandwich, to see if he would notice. Every time, the items disappeared. Always. And I could feel him watching, though I never saw him move. The movements I did catch were wrong. Too smooth, too fluid, like a marionette jerked by invisible strings. Limbs bent slightly off in ways a human body could never bend. And those eyes, blacker than midnight, impossibly wide, unblinking. Then came the night I finally couldn't resist. My heart hammered in my chest as I walked up the narrow path to his porch. The air thickened with a chill that didn't belong to the evening. My hands shook. My mind screamed at me to turn back. But I had to know. I had to see the truth. The door opened before I could knock. A rush of cold air, smelling of wet earth, rot, something ancient and wrong, rolled out and into my face. Hello? My voice sounded tiny, fragile, swallowed by the oppressive silence inside. Something moved, quick, too fluid to be human. Limbs twisting slightly as it passed through shadow and light. I froze. A rasping sound echoed inside my head, not the room, inside my skull. A laugh, soft and deliberate, like claws scratching against metal. My knees wobbled. The door slammed behind me, not violently, not suddenly, but deliberately. as if it had never been meant to open. I pressed my hands against it, locked or seared. The shadow lingered at the edge of my vision, impossibly still, watching. I could feel it probing my thoughts, twisting my fear into sharp edges, carving doubt into my very mind. I wanted to run. I wanted to scream. But the shadows followed, curling into my vision and my imagination, whispering, bending reality. I began watching the house more obsessively, late into the night. Windows that should have reflected light swallowed it instead. I crept past them, hoping to see him, to see proof that I wasn't imagining this. And then I saw him, not human. Limbs too long, joints bending wrong, movements liquid, almost graceful in their horror. He paused, head tilted, listening. And in that moment I realized the house itself was alive. Every creak, every draft, every shadow was part of him, and he knew I was watching. I searched online for him. Nothing. No records, no past addresses, no social media, no history. The house looked ordinary from the outside, but inside it defied logic. Shadows bent in impossible ways. Objects shifted subtly, as if alive. My notes and photos never captured anything. The camera would record static, the lens missing the reality in front of it. I had begun losing my grip on what was real. My fear was obsession. Every night was sleepless, every meal tasteless. And then one night, I saw him step outside. Or what I thought was him. Limbs long, movements too fluid, eyes blacker than the void itself. He turned and looked directly at me. I couldn't look away. My pulse screamed. My body froze. Shadows coiled around him, forming shapes that whispered, hissed, shrieked. My chest ached. I realized he wasn't human, never had been. And the house? It was a part of him, alive, patient, hungry. I tried to shout, to run, but my body refused. He stepped closer, slow and deliberate, and I knew then he had already marked me, already broken the rules of my world. My neighbor wasn't a man. He was something older, something patient, something that had waited a very long time. And I had stumbled into his hunt. I never slept again. Shadows crept along my walls, pooling in corners, whispering inside my head. I checked the streets, the neighborhood. Everything looked the same, but different. Birds silent, the air heavy. And sometimes, in the corner of my eye, I could see him, watching, waiting, smiling, or snarling. I couldn't tell. I ran, or tried to. I don't remember. I can feel it in my head now, patient, waiting. I don't know if I'll ever be alone. I don't know if I even want to be. Because one thing is certain. My new neighbor isn't human. And he's patient. Very patient.